Good morning. Cold SMS is a very interesting topic. It's a thing that's discussed significantly, and what I'm going to tell you today would open your eyes to a few different possibilities. Either you'll go, cold SMS is bullshit, cold SMS is great, or you'll go, cold SMS is going to be helpful, but I need something else to get to the next level. All of which is completely fine. Let's see what happens. Anyway, let's get started. The key thing I want to talk about here, we've gone with a round number of 100K, because that's the magic number everyone talks about for some weird fucking reason. But the point of this video is to explain why cold SMS is a bit of a lie, or there are lies attached to it, or it isn't quite made up to be what it really is. It is not the vehicle that is going to allow you to scale to 100K profit per month onwards. It just won't, at least without headache. So here's the truth. Cold SMS is a cash flow starter system. Do I think it's great? Fuck yes, I do. Do I still use it for diversification reasons? Of course I do. It's a bootstrap system, okay? It is not a scalable infrastructure. Everyone says, well, okay, if you're doing 3,000 SMS, send 6,000. And if you're doing 6, send 12. That isn't scalable, my friend. It isn't scalable because there's a cap on all of this. There are only so many mobile numbers on a lead list before you start dishing out into 17 different niches, which is not a very good way to systemize your business, because then, is there any infrastructure? Is there any systemization? Is there any way you can hire CSMs or back-end service delivery teams? No, there's not. So basically, cold SMS exists for a primary reason. It's to help you get to 3 to 5 to 10K a month profit. Again, you see me using the word profit here. So you can fund real growth. A lot of people tell you it's the end game. It's the shit that's going to work. It's going to get you to 50, 20, whatever the fuck. Like, it just won't. It just won't. It's going to make you a little bit of cash, but guess what? With SMS, ladies and gentlemen, it may make you 50K a month, but talk to me about your retention rate. Talk to me about your AOV, your LTV of your clients. I know their shit. I know their shit because I've done cold SMS and I still do it. I track the metrics. I know exactly what's happening. There's a point coming towards the end of this video, so stay with it, all right? Don't lose it halfway through. The math problem that no one really talks about, so let's talk about probability. Cold SMS replies rely very, very heavily on buying lead lists, extracting phone numbers from Google Maps, texting business owners directly, and literally hoping they reply. So here's the issue, okay? Your TAM is already limited, your total addressable market. For roofers, it's like 100,000 roofers. For qualified roofers, it's about 30,000. For flooring companies, it's 200,000 qualified. Again, 40 to 50,000 people, TAM. And then you reduce it further by only targeting businesses with public mobile numbers, removing corporate and enterprise brands, filtering out franchises, filtering out businesses that don't respond to unknown texts. So now your TAM is tiny. Right? You ever had this before where you scrape a huge fucking lead list, an entire state, maybe 3 states, and then you're left with like 3,000 mobile numbers that'll last you one day? You ever had that? Coffee break. Yeah, I know you have, because everyone else has, and I hear it a trillion times over. It's very, very common, okay? That's what we're talking about here. Then you've got to factor in other stuff. Saturation, multiple agencies texting the same contractors with the same SMS messages and same offers, A2P compliance issues, carrier filtering, deliverability decay, and now, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, you are operating in a shrinking ecosystem. Let me explain a couple points there. Everyone says, oh, saturation isn't a real thing. Yeah, I love the mindset. Well done. Very, very clever. But it is. It's a fucking real thing. Yeah, as a business owner, you have to be able to acknowledge real things. Otherwise, you're going to get fucked sideways. Saturation is very important to factor in. I've had SMS text messages back showing screenshots of 7 other marketing companies saying almost the exact same thing. I've had conversations with setters who said, oh, the person goes, oh, so it's 2.5K a month and 6K up front. You're going to guarantee me 25 minimum. Is that right? They're like, fuck, how do you already know our pitch? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's cold SMS, guys. They've already been blasted for the last 2 years straight. That's how it goes. So ask yourself this. What type of business owner has their personal mobile number listed on Google Maps, ladies and gentlemen? Here it gets good, okay? Be honest. If you were making 1 to 5 million per year profit, would your mobile be slapped onto Google Maps? Would you be answering cold texts from marketers? No. You'd have a front desk, you'd have an office line, you'd have a marketing manager and a gatekeeper, which means cold SMS disproportionately attracts small operators, underfunded contractors, overworked solo owners, and businesses with no systems. Am I saying that it doesn't attract good quality people ever. No. But I'm saying for the most part, it will attract the majority of the lower ticket clients. It just will. It's how it works. Scientifically, that is how it works. But it's fine, though. You can still sell them. Let me cook. Don't worry. Don't jump to conclusions, guys. I'm not saying SMS is terrible. Then you wonder why retention is hard. You might be able to sign clients and have an unbelievable service delivery, but because the client is a broke operator by mindset, by nature, by everything else, you simply can never rebuild them. Or they don't close jobs, or they have terrible reviews online. And there's something called the downstream effect. So let's look at that from top stream to downstream. Here's what actually happens with cold SMS. You spend 3 to 4 hours per day replying to low-intent conversations, wasting that energy on those calls. Money on lead lists, money on phone numbers, money on clear-out phone credits, money on SMS segments and carrier filtering fees. You book calls, half of them don't show. The ones that do show complain about the price, want free trials, have been burnt before, don't have ad spend, they've heard this pitch before. So what do? You discount, you take that $500 deal, you undercut the fuck out of yourself, you over-deliver, you stretch yourself thin, you onboard a broke client, they churn in 30 days, then you repeat. That is not scaling. That is not a sustainable business. That is what we call survival. Stay focused. Why cold SMS cannot scale you to $100,000 per month? Let's break it down mathematically. To reach $100,000 per month in SMMA, you assume an AOV of $2K per month. Okay? You need 50 active clients. That would be, in SMS, a 3 to 10% response rate. Let's look at the reality of cold SMS for a second. Let me not make the connection just yet. Cold SMS reality is a response rate of 3 to 10%, positive reply of 1 to 5, booking rate of 30 to 50, close rate 20 to 40, retention very unfucking stable. You would need to message tens of thousands of businesses monthly, and remember, your TAM is limited. Your numbers burn, deliverability does drop, carrier filtering increases, reply rates decay over time. Cold SMS doesn't compound, ads compound, brands compound, reputation compounds, cold SMS doesn't. Let's talk about something else, the mobile number filter. So this is one of the most important points. Cold SMS only reaches people with publicly listed mobile numbers. It automatically removes larger companies with bigger budgets, more structured systems, higher revenue, and people that have a dedicated marketing budget. Get this. I speak to people from ads, because that's what I'm good at. I speak to people from ads that tell me, yeah, Jack, our company has a minimum marketing budget of $100,000 a month this month, and we're talking to 3 different vendors that we're going to divide it between. And I can pitch them $15,000 a month, $25,000 a month, $75,000 contracts. You've seen me do it on the channel. I literally have videos of me closing a $75,000 contract. Those types of sales are different, by the way. Those sales are different. We pitch them differently. We pitch them a different service. Anyway, moving on. You can't do that with cold SMS for obvious reasons. So you do get low capital clients, low tolerance clients, high stress clients. You are fishing, ladies and gentlemen, in the wrong pond. However, and there's a big however here, that I told you I was going to get to. And if you've listened to this point onwards and you've had the mental resistance to actually hear this out, good job. What cold SMS is actually for? Cold SMS is for learning sales, learning positioning, getting your first case study, generating initial cash flow, testing offers. It is training ground. It is not a scaling vehicle. You use it to get to 5 to 15. I mean, yeah, you could do 15K a month, maybe profit. That's pretty easy. $5,000 to $15,000 a month profit. Then you pivot. So is cold SMS fucking good? Hell yeah, it is. Surprise. SMS is good. Of course it is, guys. Let me charge my laptop. Hold tight. Cold SMS is fantastic because your CAC, your cost per acquisition, is like $100 per client. $100 it's going to cost you to acquire one client. Do you know how good that is? In ads, I might pay $400 to $1,000 to acquire a client. They're better quality and they're worth it more. But $400 to acquire a client, ladies and gentlemen, when you are starting out in the social media space, that is a game changer. That is a fucking game changer. So yes, SMS is still good. Here's how you use it. Phase 1. Cold SMS, generate cash first, build that social proof. Use that cash to fund paid ads, attract inbound leads, raise prices, and build brand authority. Then scale 50 to 100K. Believe it or not, there are a lot of niches, blue ocean niches people aren't fully aware of that I have a very, very good reputation in, that my brand has been seen many, many times in. I even run fucking brand awareness campaigns. How weird is that? But because these total addressable markets are like 20,000 sized, the TAM is tiny. but I'm very dominant in those markets because the TAM is small, and I have very good reputation because I've got a lot of clients in them. Whereas you can't really do that with SMS. Like they don't see your brand; they just hear some text message from your assistant Liv, right? Ads allow you to reach decision makers beyond mobile listings. They target by revenue signals, target by behavior, build omnipresence, like I was just discussing there, and they warm up leads before sales calls. I would argue that the leads don't need warming up; they're already warm. Because remember, if someone's coming to you versus you going to them, the dynamic is much more malleable. You can turn that sales call into a close very, very easily. We close our ads calls at about 40%, sometimes more. It's crazy. Sometimes a little bit more. And our AOV is pretty high. We charge between 2.5K to 6K, which we wouldn't do on SMS, to be very, very clear with you. Cold SMS is an interrupter. Okay, ads attract. So let's just kind of really briefly wrap this up and explain why ads scale and SMS doesn't. Ads have unlimited reach. Lookalike audiences, retargeting, creative testing, funnel optimization, data accumulation, brand positioning. Cold SMS is static list, linear effort, high operational complexity, no compounding effect, declining marginal returns. And one scales geometrically even, and one scales linearly. Fucking hell, why do we have to pick the hardest words in the script? That's fucking mad. Linear does not get you to 100K. I don't know why. I hate that. One of them's horizontal and one of them's vertical scaling. What terrible words to use. One scales and one scales vertically, because this is just retarded. Cool. Hard truth. Most people stay in cold SMS too long. All right, this is very, very true. Every single person that I currently work with for the software business, for the mentorship, for the coaching, right? We get the money from cold SMS, and I personally build them their own advertising campaign that they just launch. They just launch, and the appointments roll through because I already know what to do. I'm very good at ads. That's always been my trick, my skill set is ads. So I help them do that. Cold SMS is a pond you don't want to fish in forever. They stay there because they feel productive, they feel busy, they feel technical, they feel hustle-driven. But busy does not equal scalable. Busy does not equal money. You are building a job, not a company. Now, let me just elaborate on that point, right? This shit's so important. Please hold tight for a second. Let's have a sip of this. It's nice coffee. And the sun's coming through as well, which we love. You can see the background there. Very, very beautiful. Anyway, back to what I was going to mention with cold SMS. A lot of people hire like 10 setters. They get 40 appointments on the calendar a day, and they think that they're the shit. They think that they are a big business owner. I get it. Like, I do get it. Been there, done that. I know the feeling is awesome. When you're leading a team, and you have a team, and you feel super busy, you're training them, then you got training meetings, then you got them calling, and you're managing them, and you're firing some people, and you feel like you're in control. You feel powerful, right? I get it. Look, I get it, guys, 100%. But what I also am very, very conscious of, because remember, everything that I teach on here, I've personally learned myself. I'm not shitting on anyone. I'm just saying this is what I've learned. In that position, I often found myself spending so much energy to acquire money. And I've spoken about this on a couple videos, which is your energy per dollar made is the most important metric in a business. With SMS, I need you to be very conscious and ask yourself, is what I'm doing day to day highly efficient? And it's probably not. So the real lesson here is cold SMS is not a scam. It's just mispositioned. It's misexplained. People kind of package it up and sell it for more than it is. I myself am probably responsible for that partly as well, I'm sure. But that's the game, right? It is a starter engine, not a jet engine. You make your first money, then you reinvest, you scale with systems that compound. So, look at this shit. Come on. Basics, guys. Let's get this aligned. If you're stuck at 3, 5, 10K and you're still texting thousands of contractors per week, it's not because you're lazy. It's because you're using a phase 1 strategy in a phase 3 business. Cold SMS, ladies and gentlemen, is not the end game. It is an entry fee. Make your first money, then graduate. One last thing that I really want to tell people is that if you are in a position where you can acquire startup business funding, either in the UK, Europe, Dubai, UAE, America. There are many startup funding companies, and you would like me to help you with your ads, do it. Because it's very easy. You don't need to put much into this to get a lot out. Anyway, hopefully this video was valuable, is what I meant to say there. And I know a significant portion of the market is going to potentially receive this in an incorrect manner to what I intend. But I also know that a significant amount of you will understand where I'm going with this and take it on board and understand that don't just look at cold SMS as your godsend because the dopamine receptors fire in your brain. I want you to start planning for the broader horizon in your business. Thanks so much.